Hello, good morning, Year 7. Welcome to your fourth lesson on health in the medieval period, your ninth lesson of this period altogether. What I'd like you to do is to write down your title for today's lesson, which is What did people believe caused disease in the Middle Ages? And your starter activity, I just want you to think about health, public health today. So just identify three things that affect people's health today. So the sort of causes of disease, you can be quite creative there, but there are some standard ones that should come to mind quickly. And then once you've done that, so you just list three things that affect people's health today, I want you to identify and list three things that could have affected people's health in the medieval period. Ideally, they'd be three different things that affect people's health today. And obviously, you can always go for the more challenging. So that's just listing a few more. And then the mega challenge is who do you think would be healthier, people today or people in medieval times? Why? Explain in detail. Okay, so once you are ready to start on that, pause this video, write them down, and then resume. Okay, so you should have written down a number of things that include um, identify people's health today. So it could be diet. Poor diet could affect people's health today. You could say uh, not doing much, so lack of exercise, that can affect people's health today, and living in areas of high pollution. So those are all quite modern ailments, things that people didn't go through before. Now, three things that could have affected people's health in medieval times: infection. So remember, this is before the invention of antibiotics. So you could have cut your finger on a rose thorn, and then within 2 days you would be dead of an infection. Yeah, so that's how important things like antibiotics are for us today. Of course, the more challenging is just listing a few other things of that kind. The mega challenge. Now, this is the one that always stumps people when I tell them, who do you think would be healthier, people today or people in medieval times? Now, we're talking about overall general health. Now, we have access to a wide range of really advanced medical sort of techniques, medicines, and surgery, etc. But if you move that to one side and you just talk about the health of the ordinary peasant in medieval Europe or Asia, for instance, they would have been quite a lot healthier than the average person in the world today. And that is because their diet mostly consisted of vegetables, of plants. They ate very, very little meat, and they worked quite hard. And that's in stark contrast to today, where people eat very poorly and do very little exercise. Of course, we have methods of reversing some of those things where maybe they wouldn't have had access to that. Right. So, keywords there: cause, disease, and beliefs. Right. So these are some of the three classic causes of disease in the medieval period. So what you can see there, these are two plague victims who are at the latter stages of the disease. You can see that because they are covered in quite large, what we call buboes, Buboes. And this person here is clearly a religious figure, and he's there to ward off evil spirits using these special plants. Um, Another one here, this woman has been struck down by some, we can assume, mental illness, and people didn't have a good understanding of mental diseases at that time, and it was almost always ascribed to the actions of the devil. And you can see this woman here being administered by a monk, and the devil in the distance there, clearly influencing her state of mind. And then finally, you have what was seen as the sort of serious professional diagnoses of health at the time, and that was the humours. Now, people like Hippocrates and Galen believed that the body was made up of four different humours, or sort of liquids or states. So one of them was phlegm, one was bile, another one was yellow bile, one black bile, etc. And if those four were not in perfect equilibrium, in perfect harmony, then the person would get sick. Right? So if you were then, lacking yellow bile, then they would give you something that would balance that out. It might be food, it might be a treatment, etc. Next, another very common cause of disease was a sort of a supernatural one, really, and that was to do with the alignment of the stars. So astrologers would look at the stars, they'd work out your star sign, and then they would say, well, of course, you have a bad stomach this morning because Jupiter is in line with Venus. So, that's common. And I know that sounds ridiculous today, but people did believe that. Now, I want you to look into this in a little bit more detail independently. If you open up the Lesson 9 Causes worksheet, I've outlined quite a few of the causes for you here, so supernatural. Have a read of it, and I want you to fill in this row. So, how did this cause disease? How did this help cure disease? Just that, because it's only supernatural. Then, you read religion. A bit more here on religion, and you complete the row for religion. And then you do the same for humours, and then common sense or natural there. All right. Same as always, I need you to upload your completed, well, in this case it will be worksheet and starter activity to the Teams page on today's assignment. Good luck.